The ANC's National Executive Committee meeting is still underway in Boksburg in Johannesburg. One of the subcommittees is actually briefing the media currently. Let's take you live to that press briefing.
Municipal and provincial roads that are possibly crossing through towns, and one, it's part of what the Interministerial Committee on Sector Departments has been resolved on to ensure that Department of Human Settlement, municipalities, COCTA, DFFE, particularly on the environment and waste and waste collection, DWS, which is water and sanitation, and many other sector departments, Department of Transport, on categorization of road, for example. I mean, I've been a mayor before. I know a road that passes through Polokwane, it's a national road, and the municipality may have to go through quite a number of processes to be able to repair a R71. And what the NEC is saying, it's a collaboration method which is mixed with DDM to ensure that through the Deputy President Paul Mashatile, the IMC is able to collaborate everybody else and roll out those projects. And with regard to underspending, which I had said is a perennial problem, for example, in the past financial year, municipalities collectively have lost close to $1 billion, that's around 900 million, which we have taken back into the fiscus, meaning the National Treasury has taken it back because we had not spent it according to our plans. So I've created a hub of planning to ensure that all the planning is prior the conceptualization or the commencement of a financial year. Talking to you now, we have already taken close to about 92 expect to different municipalities to roll out projects, because you will be aware that our financial year started some 6-7 days ago, which is the 1st of July, contrary to the national and provincial financial year, which starts at the beginning of the year. And this allows us that as the provincial and national government closes their financial years, it carries over through the areas of development that they will also be starting in the beginning of their financial year. So in our joint planning, what the monitoring and evaluation of the ANC does through the office of the DSG is to lift all what we had promissory made as their deployees to ensure that we implement, roll out, to oversee it, which means a ward councillor and a council must know a school will be built where, a police station will be built where, areas of service delivery which are beyond municipal responsibilities. You know very well that the Schedule 4 and Schedule 5 duties, 4 be mainly being municipal, 5 be mainly being provincial and national. Of course, there's cross functioning of areas where a ministry could allow a municipality to perform a particular function, which is at 5B, for example, a certain portion of rules and responsibilities could be given to a municipality with regard to management of beaches by environment and tourism, or management of police and extension of traffic police from SAPS Section 40 of their Police Act. Quite a number of all those responsibilities which are then given to municipalities to be able to. And finally is our agreement and adoption, actually, which is part of what has been tabulated today, of the accountability framework. We all can't shy away from what the AG has said, or has always repeatedly said, with regard to we need to be able to account for all the rents and cents that have been allocated to us as government. Now, when I'm saying LNG is has a broad area of responsibility, it does not necessarily look at municipalities only, but it looks into government as a whole. How do we enhance our policies? We are looking into the IMSA bill to ensure that the accountability framework is infused there. But we're also ensuring, you may know, in our previous NEC we dealt with the coalition strategy and its amendment, and you may be aware that we are leading also in terms of discussions politically in ensuring that we try and create a stable country at the municipal level. I mean, we have got 8 metros which carry a population of about 40-45%. So which means half of our population resides in the metros, where there's the highest level of instability with regard to coalition management, coalition setup, which affects negatively service delivery. And it's usually better to look on hindsight so that you don't seem like you're on an attack. Let's look at Nelson Mandela Bay in the last term of 2016 to 2021, the fifth administration of local municipalities. They turned back no less than 520 million, which was allocated for human settlement, because metros are licensed, contrary to all the other 205 local municipalities. Metros are licensed by human settlement to build directly houses, which means they get, like MIG, they get a tranche of human settlement, identify their beneficiaries, appoint and build. They did not build even a single house, not one house. And they had, if you count in Nelson Mandela Bay, they had no less than 15 to 21 mayors, not in that term, but collectively, since we have started in the 21 years of local government. So we're trying to look, and we're championing one, for example, the introduction of political threshold with regard to representation in council. If you look at the city of eThekwini, currently it has around 24, 25 political parties, including independents, which makes the council. So if you are a mayor in a coalition like Mayor Mxolisi Kaunda, you have got 24 individual people that you are supposed to talk to and beg to understand the importance of your budget and its priorities. But if you just introduce a 1% threshold, which means collectively as we go for proportional representation in the National Assembly, I think you need about 30,000 seats. Yours, you wouldn't calculate it at the 30,000, but you'll take a voter's roll. How many people make a ward? Let's say it's 3,000. Roughly wards are around that area. 3,000 at most, in cities 7,000, but nothing bigger than that. And you introduce 1% of that population of a particular ward and say you need to get at least 1% of people who represent you. Because currently, with the low turnout as well of voting, there are wards which get as low as 10, 15% of representation of people who showed up to cast their ballots. But if you have got 10 and I've got 6, you are the winner. And you speak confidently as if you represent the 6,000 people who reside in that ward. If you take that exercise of 1%, it will reduce the party representation in the city of eThekwini to about 7. And it becomes something that is manageable. It will relatively be better to talk to 7 different parties to formulate a coalition, to formulate a space of driving, than convincing 24 separate individual parties. When today you did not greet me or didn't like how you are dressed in the corridor, I push for a motion of no confidence. I move from one area to the other. But also looking in this Nelson Mandela example, for example, what is one of the lessons? The lessons is that all their IDPs in the 5 years had human settlement allocation and had beneficiaries in areas prioritized. But what does that mean? It means Mayor A, when she arrives, she says, no, I don't want that settlement. Let's start and plan that other one. And they start. As they are planning, there's a motion of no confidence. Mayor A is out and Mayor B says, no, I don't want where Mayor Mahlengi was planning. I'm going to plan another. And she's busy planning a motion of no confidence. So all the years we are rotating on who needs it first, not that there's no one who doesn't need it. And 5 years lapsed and they did not build for any of those that they'd identified. So our championing is the ANC that will move beyond in the IMC bill to make IDPs mandatory and locked to such an extent that a coalition, once it has agreed on an IDP, you can change the leaders, but don't change Koko Dlamini and say she doesn't need a house now because it's Mayor A or Mayor B. So want to lock IDPs, and we do believe that it will help in ensuring that, because remember, at the local government sphere, it's the only sphere where it's mandatory, it's compulsory by law that you talk to the people. So an IDP doesn't belong to a mayor, it belongs to its residents. And who changes it? It's council, without even the consultation of the community. So we're also looking into policy and legislature review to ensure that we close on those spaces. I think I will conclude there, Comrade Mahleng. There's quite a number of issues, maybe when they are given an opportunity for questions. But fundamental to us is the legislature, is policy review, is infrastructure and acceleration, is the management of coalitions. Of course, I mean, coalitions have been worsened for us as the ANC, but also other parties have learned as well. In their initial stance was, we don't want anyone who don't black, green and gold. We don't want to manage ourselves. Without you, we think we can do better. And the answer, even on themselves in those countries, have been slightly different, because it's a management of everybody else from different party aspirations, different policy positions of parties. So it moves beyond emotions, it moves beyond how do you feel about the others. And as a result now, we get more requests, can we discuss ANC, can we run together, can we? And it does not mean there are no challenges, but we could be able to assist with quite a number. Of course, I haven't unpacked the entire strategy of the ANC with regard to coalitions as well, but it's a partnership which is informed by the context, but given the framework that the ANC says fundamental, our people take priority. The intention of the ANC being in government is to give people services.
Well, that's Thembi Nkadimeng, who is the chairperson of the ANC subcommittee on legislature and governance, looking at some of the policy discussions that they have been having there. Speaking about roads, as she touched a bit about roads, national roads also moving through various municipalities.